All right, hello everybody. Good afternoon, good morning. Once again, we have made it to match day -1 this day, one day ahead of facing Brazil on the second match day of the She Believes Cup. We're of course joined again by U.S. head coach Vlatko Andonovski to take your questions. Then we'll hear from Midge Purce and Rose Lavelle. So, if you have questions for Vlatko, please raise your hand virtually. We'll get to you. Let's start it off with Steve Goff. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Vlatko, thanks for your time. Wanted to ask you about Rose. Given 3 games over 7 days and her history of injuries and durability, what is your plan throughout this tournament in managing her minutes and just making sure she's good and healthy going forward, especially with the Olympics ahead?
Yes, Rose is good and healthy, and we're going to see her on the field a little bit more. In terms of injuries, we're not worried at all, and she's playing hard, she's training hard, so we're excited to have her here, and I think that we're gonna see the best of Rose as we're going forward.
Do you have to be a little more careful with her, given her history?
I don't know if we have to be careful with her. Obviously, it's soccer. Anything can happen to anyone. Because I don't want to be worried about something that hasn't happened. She's great. We're happy how she's training. She's training extremely hard. We saw when she stepped on the field, she was brilliant. She wasn't hesitant to do anything. She managed to score an important goal for us. So at this point, we're not worried about anything. We're just excited and happy.
Good, thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Meg Linehan, go ahead.
Hi, Vlatko. I know that you've coached against some of the biggest players on Brazil in the NWSL, but I was hoping to pick your brain a little bit on Debinha and what you have seen from her from the North Carolina Courage that might give you some insight into what to expect in this match.
You know what? I'm pretty sure what I've seen, the whole world has seen. She's an incredible player. Her creativity and ability to change and play in between the lines in the middle of the field, but also make runs behind the line and decide games. It's incredible. I think she's one of the best players in the world, and I'm extremely happy that we have a chance to play a friendly or a tournament game against a squad like Brazil, but also players like Debinha and Marta and all the other players they have on the team, because it's going to be a great test for us. And it will, I'm sure, it will expose some of our weaknesses that we may still have to work on or fix before we go to the Olympics.
Perfect. Thank you, Vlatko.
Yeah. Thanks, Meg. Let's go to Julia Poe. Go ahead, Julia.
Hey, Vlatko, thank you so much for the time, like always. You've spoken before about how Alex Morgan is just kind of getting better every time that you're seeing her. How did you rate her performance in that first game? And similarly to the question about Rose, how do you kind of plan on using her and using this tournament to help her in her progress getting back to full speed?
Yes, first Alex came in the game in the same time with Kristen and Rose, and all 3 of them I thought did an incredible job in changing the game. And in fact, the players that are not starting the game, we don't call them substitutions, we call them game changers, and that's what they did. They came in right at the moment when we were when the pace of the game started dropping, or we were about to lose our momentum. They came in and picked us right back up where we wanted to be. Finished the game in a proper manner. Now, in terms of Alex, I thought that she had a good performance. She helped us maintain that intensity when we were out of possession, but also found herself in some good goal scoring opportunities when we were in possession. Now, like I said, she's getting better every day, and I have no doubt that she's going to get better from game to game. And this tournament and games that we have is something that we're going to use to help her get to her best as soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Let's go to Jeff Carlisle. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Vlatko. Just wondering if, now that you've had a little bit more time to digest the Canada game, if there were any other things that kind of jumped out at you about that, and in what ways will Brazil challenge you guys in ways that Canada didn't?
Yeah, so in terms of Canada, if there's something that jumps out is the lack of execution. I mean, the lack of finishing. We went through everything that we wanted to do, and I feel like we executed our principles very well. We were able to create 28 shots, 27 crosses in open play. So we created 6 opportunities, goal scoring opportunities off of the crosses. We created another 7 or 8 opportunities in open play that we could have scored with shots, but we didn't. Which again, yes, it was disappointing maybe at the moment. But we got to know that these players are in off-season still. They're not played in. They haven't had touches with their teams. They haven't had regular games on a weekly basis. Okay, once that all comes in play, I'm not worried about it. As long as we're creating opportunities, we're moving in the right direction because the execution will come pretty soon. Now, to answer the second part of your question, Brazil. I think one thing that Brazil is gonna do more is just add a different flair or different creativity. Will present a challenge that we're gonna have to solve their free flow in the middle. We know that Marta has an ability to drop in the middle to create overload. Debinha, I said earlier, she has an ability to drop in the middle to create overload. So there's gonna be problems and challenges that they're gonna present that will create for us that we'll have to overcome, and there is no certain pattern that we can say, okay, this is what they're going to do every time. And that's what makes Brazil special, is that they're so unpredictable that we're going to have to overcome those challenges or come up with solutions in the split second. And I'm actually looking forward to it, to see how our team is going to react. In fact, that's why we have this tournament before the Olympics, and that's why we have some of the best teams, so we can get exposed to different problems, issues, challenges.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Seth Bertelny. Hold on, let me unmute you. Go ahead, Seth.
Hey, Vlatko.
Hey.
Thanks again for taking the time. Midge Purce is still a relatively new player for the national team, but now she's had a handful of games. Just kind of wondering how you've seen her development with the national team, how she's doing playing at a right back spot when she's kind of a natural attacker. And, with Kelly out, how big of a chance is this for her to kind of stake her claim either as that number 2 right back or even as a potential challenger for that starting role?
Yeah, so in terms of Midge, she just needs minutes as a right back, whether it's with the national team, with her club team, if she has an opportunity to play there. That's what she needs. So she needs to get used to the position. She needs to get used to the challenges that the position brings. So that's what she needs. We could see in the game against Canada that she did an incredible job when she was in the attacking half or when we were in possession. I thought that she would help us advance forward. Okay, came up with some good crosses, combination with Lynn. So that's the part that she's familiar with. But then there's another part of the game, and especially when you play teams, maybe not as much. She didn't have as many challenges with Canada, but teams maybe with Brazil. She's gonna if she's on the field, she's gonna be next to Marta. So that's the area that she still needs to grow and develop. And once again, that's what this tournament is for. That's what these games are for, to help these players develop and get ready for the next challenges, for bigger challenges, but also for us to evaluate whether they are anywhere close to being where we need them to be when the big tournaments come.
Thanks, Vlatko.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Seth. Looks like we only got one more for Vlatko, so let's go to Dan Pentland. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Vlatko. We've already touched on the triple substitution the other night and the positive effect that it had. Will you be looking at your starting 11 tomorrow night and, potentially calling on the likes of Kristen or Rose or Alex, to try and kind of get a flying start against Brazil?
I mean, they all did an incredible job, and that's how you're in a starting spot. You come in, you do well, and on a consecutive basis. So whether they're going to start tomorrow or not, we're going to know probably later tonight. But as of right now, they're definitely in the mix along with all the other players, because even the players that were on the field that were starting, we were happy, like I said, for the most part, how they executed our principles and executed our plan.
Thanks, Dan. Julia, did you have another question, or was your hand just still up?
Yeah, I wanted to hop in if Vlatko still has time.
Hop in, go ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Vlatko, you mentioned Marta a couple times. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, what is it like scouting against her? And at this point in her career, what does she still bring as a competitor that makes her, one of those names that is the first to come up when you're scouting against Brazil?
I mean, the scouting folder for Marta is pretty thick that we have. It goes way back. So she's got a lot of qualities. I mean, she brings a lot to this team. First, she's a true leader on the Brazilian team. She's a winner. She's a competitor. But she's a great player. On the field, she just does things so that you don't know what she's going to come up with. She's creative, has a great service, unbelievable left foot. She can finish. So I don't think that anything that I say here about Marta is going to be new to anyone on this call. Whether from the playing perspective or from the leadership or how important she is to the Brazilian team. But like I said, we're really excited to play Brazil and Marta and Debinha, Ludmila, because it will help us prepare for the next step.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. All right, there's no more questions for Vlatko, so we'll let him go. Thanks, Vlatko. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
everyone.
it.